Aiden, hi. Welcome on in. It's Friday. How are you? How is everything going? It will be fine. You will find a way, or they will find a way. Did you get in contact with the support? I remember on I was about to say on Friday. No, yesterday. You said it was a bit difficult to get in contact with them. Yeah. Still closed today, because it's no good. Isn't it a thing of time zone? It makes no sense, right? Google does have headquarters almost everywhere, so it shouldn't be something time zone related. It may be something holiday related, like public holiday or things like this. Holiday. But I mean, if you think that the email can help, then do the email. Just know that if you send an email, it may take a bit of time in order for them to either take your request into consideration, and or it won't be fixed right away. So if you send an email now, like in your head, even though it might happen, but in your head, if you can think about it as a 2 to 3 days latency, that could be a good thing for you. Like, just to not expect too much, because I know how people can be. Yeah, but you can't. That's why I'm telling you this. Like, remember that there are either humans behind everything, and that you need to get approvals or other things that would help your case specifically. I don't think the chatbot would be able to help in the situation that you have, because it's a very human thing, and I don't think it will help. I think you just need to get a real person right away rather than going through a chatbot. So if you send an email, you will have most likely, not sure though, but most likely a real human. Otherwise, I mean, you can try with a chatbot, but that's yeah. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think the chatbot will help in any ways. And the same thing. I don't think the passive aggressiveness help either. That's another topic that I mean, in my views, passive aggressive will, depending on the type of people you have in front of you, right? And I'm one of the extreme on these types of spectrum. If you send me a passive aggressive message, your request is instantly denied. Instantly. So if it's like a Slack message on the company and then some of my coworkers are trying to make me do something or doing like some passive aggressive messages, I dismiss them, and like until they ask properly, I don't answer. So if you end up getting your email read by someone who is like me, doing a passive aggressive email will absolutely not get you anywhere. I think being mannered and then you need to reformulate. Have you tried things like how is it fucking called? Compose. Like maybe Compose can help you, right? That's a thing that exists. It's a Chrome extension, Compose.ai, that can give you reformulation of email and things that you want to send, text messages, all that. They have like a Grammarly is okay, but it's mainly for grammar, right? That's in the name. This one just gives you the ability to auto-complete a lot of things. It's a very powerful add-on to Chrome, and they have things. The more that you're using it, the thing that is good for you is because you are a native English speaker. Well, this thing is, I mean, good in English. You can do it in multiple. Nishit, hi. How are you? You could do it in multiple languages, right? But if you go for the free version, you have the AI autocomplete, which is pretty cool in terms of how to structure some of the thing that you're writing. It works specifically on emails, like really, really well. And then the other thing, if you pay for the features, well, you have the ability to like do that, which is pretty clean. So like the AI that they are using, as always, I'm air quoting AI because, well, we never know exactly how it works. They say it learns from everything that you type and all the autocompletes that they provide to you, the one that you select, the one that you don't select or discard. They then arrive to like a consensus of everything and say, all right, so based on previous data, they would probably formulate their sentences like so. And so they give you some type of sentences, which is pretty neat. There is another one that I don't know if it's Compose. It might be Copy.ai, but Copy is more for long form-ish content, but it's pretty good as well. It is like a platform that gives you the ability to create paragraphs of things, whichever, with specific type of subject that you want to have. And it really, as they say, it really helps for like short form content, but also long form content, and it's like basically automated. So sadly they don't have like a real free plan. Their free plan is like limited to a certain amount of content, which I mean is still a free plan, still free. But I don't know. Yeah. It's still good though. It's still a good thing overall. So you can try Copy AI as well and Compose.ai as well, just to make sure that like maybe your formulation sentences in your emails are not that passive aggressive, and that may help a lot. I don't know. That's a thing. That is a thing. Nishit, we were looking at to AI generation software or AI text generation software to potentially help Aiden to formulate some emails without being passive aggressive. That's what we were looking for or looking at. And you said you are troubled at the moment. What's happening? Tell me what's happening. It's Friday. We can have a chat. The Aiden, the reason why I said it was in English and English was a bit better is because most of the time these types of AI are like created with English as their first language. And so for me as a French person, when I'm typing things in my emails or messaging app in French, it has a bit of an issue from time to time to like formulate things in the right way. But yeah. What is KRA, Nishit? I don't know that. Oh, is it KRA like OKR, like key result analysis or something like this? Or kinda, it seems. Okay, good. I can help with that if you need to. It's pretty easy for the design team of one. My English is okay, but it's the what I'm saying is the fact that the app, and I'm switching from English to French while I'm typing from time to time. The AI is like fucked up with their analysis of my content, right? That's it makes absolutely no sense for it that a person would be speaking multiple languages in the same email or paragraph. That's why I say it's no good. And then Suno will probably have a bit of Japanese at the same time. So so it's just fucked. Which is the case. On my phone, I'm speaking French, English, and Japanese. Which, if they had like an add-on for my text, damn, they will. It will be fucked for real. So, Nishit, in order for your OKR, KRA, which is interesting that you named them KRA, but that's, yeah. The thing that we can track or metrically track as a design team, if your design, sorry, I'm just seeing something. I need to click on that. Good. And now it doesn't work. Let me just refresh that page, anime, and then I answer that I'm continuing the thing that I was about to say. If I click now, it doesn't fucking work. Well, I will kill them. It will be fine. Oli, if you're here lurking, the marker on stream doesn't work. No, so in terms of metrics, the thing that we can, as a design team, the thing that we really can track is in terms of easy number to track, the number of screen that we created, the number of features that we have created, which is linked, right? And the number of questions we received from the dev team. So There are others, but these three are the very easy and basic one that we can track. It's a bit sad because OKRs for just solo designers team, it's a difficult thing to be able to track. And so tracking the question with the devs is one great great thing. You have the ability to say, well, when I was creating this, I did the entire thing, and then when it was done, I send it to the dev team, and the dev team like came back to me X amount of time. And so in my OKRs, my objective key results, I am trying to reduce the amount of time that the dev team is coming back to ask me a question about something that they didn't understand. I want them to understand close to 100% of what I deliver to them. So if you, that's one of the key metrics that we use. If the dev team don't come back to you with functional questions about how things should work, then you did a pretty good job. If they come back to you often, then you did a pretty bad job at explaining your work when you send it to them. So that's one key metrics. Remember as well that your OKRs and key RA, you shouldn't do or plan things that are difficult to achieve for a team of one. So, and also you shouldn't like outdo yourself. That doesn't mean anything. You shouldn't push yourself too much and try to create like 5 metrics to track for the next quarter, right? Usually it's in quarter form. Sometimes it's in a yearly form, which I think for the design team on a yearly form it's a bit better than a quarter form, because you don't have enough feedback on a quarter most of the time. But you can, depends on the company anyway. So if it's yearly, that's good. On the yearly scale, you have the ability to track more frequently, but also you also have the ability to have 3 months where nothing happened or little happened, and then maybe the next month they just bombard you with questions. So yeah, that doesn't. So, thank you. I guess we have our subject for today's stream. Just, it's a lot of work. So, for project worked on, because you're on a service-based company and client pitch made, these 2 metrics don't you did these two metrics don't or are not tied to your skills at all. So you can have your sales team that is just like crushing numbers and getting a ton of new clients, and then you have like a ton of new work to do. And so the amount of project you work on and the client that you pitch to, that doesn't mean that everything was a good outcome. The quality of the work is almost unmeasurable. It is, but it's difficult. But it's almost unmeasurable because you can't get something on a systemic basis and saying, well, the client If the client asks for the 3 revision that is provided in their contract, then that means they were not exactly happy with the thing that I created, or the other way around. If they don't ask for it, that means they were pretty happy with the first iteration. But sometimes you have a client that is just unsure of what they want, and they will ask as many revisions as possible, and then they will just go back to the first version, and they just wanted to see more options because they were unsure. And other people absolutely don't know what they can do, and so, or understand what they are asking for, and so they just say, well, the first thing seems pretty cool, let's go with that. And so if you try to create like a system to track everything in terms of quality, it's very difficult. So one of the things that we did, and that's a long time ago. Let me see. Can I remember that? That's old. Have a good look, Aiden. Right now, because I'm in a startup and we have like clients that are recurring clients, I can like track and go to them and ask them question on a monthly basis or weekly basis. I mean, I don't do a weekly basis. We usually do a monthly basis, right? So that's a difficult thing. The OKRs that I've done and the one that I've in place, very specific to me, as always. That doesn't mean it will apply to you, but they could be helpful, are linked to the collaboration in between teams. That's what I'm working on the most. I make sure that the clients are happy with the thing that we create, but I don't give a shit about the client in a way. So on the OKRs basis, like the client thing is one of the least important OKR in my specific case. And so, as I said, the one that is the most important to me is the collaboration between the design team and the dev team and the marketing and the sales. Like, we have all of our teams together, and making sure that at any time, if someone needs to collaborate with the design team, then we are, or I am, available and or already have like systems in place that helps to avoid repetitive questions and things like that. So you could, but for a team of one, yes, you could, but it's not exactly on a company basis. So the OKR, the thing that is really important to understand is, I guess we could Figma thingy a bit. So the main thing, right? You have your company that is I don't think that Discord will help in any ways, but yeah, maybe at some point. So you have your company. If I remember, your company is blue, and then you have your teams. And so we'll just do regular teams thingy. Let's resize that. Let's go here. Let's do that. Let's do that and that. Damn it. Then you. Then you. Yes. So you have your sub teams, which are like a lighter. It looks white. Looks absolutely white. And then sub to this, you have your team-based OKRs, which are basically here. These should be same as this, which is weird. Like, let's do that. Oh shit, didn't select the right one. And so this needs to go in here. So let's say this is a second team. This is a third team. Damn it. I clicked multiple times. Shouldn't have. Let me change that color to the brighter one so that we have things. All right. So, in terms of how things are placed, you have your company, right, on top, that will always define the OKRs for the company, right? And so they usually are the company vision and where they want to go, what they want to do in the future, some metrics that are usually bullshit and some metrics that are usually helpful. If your company's OKR are mainly oriented into like revenue and the amount of clients that we want to have, it's not that good of a company, but I understand, it makes sense. However, if your company main OKRs and goals are to make sure that the satisfaction of the clients are optimum and the living of their employees is good, all of these things, right? All that helps a lot. So in the teams, if you say that the design team, which I usually represent in green, has like the collaboration thing, on my side, I would usually have something like 2 goals for a quarter or basically a year. That's the basic thing. The dev team, which is usually purple and yellow, backend is backend is yellow and purple is like front end. We usually also do blue for front end from time to time, but that's like some different things. The backend may have 3 and the front end may have 3 as well. And then everything that is related to marketing and sales, they have like 4 or something. The main goal, one of my main goal as the designer, is to make sure that all the company teams are collaborating properly based on what has been designed for the company. How can I say it? Like the brand guidelines, right? So there is one OKR that is making sure that the perceived image of the company is still the same through the years. Making sure that the usage of the branding that has been created is still the right one. Like the marketing team didn't decide to do like a weird thing with an image that wasn't you got no subs. That's why you got an ad. give me a bit of time to do that. That's good. You good? You back? You tell me when you're back. So this, let's see if it can stay here. You back? Good. What did you miss? Why the ads? You have no sub, so you get an ad. That's what's happening. If you don't want the sub, you can either get the Twitch ad blocker, which is a specific Chrome add-on, or sub to the channel. That should be...
Scott with too many TS just resubscribed for 5 months. Oh shit, oh fuck, oh damn, 5 mother EFFING months, fuck yeah.
I need a clip of that. God, well, come on in. Thanks a lot for the 5 fucking months. That's a long ass time. A beautiful message, indeed. Align with our brand's guidelines, indeed. Shit. So yeah, welcome on in. Thanks a lot for the resub for 5 months. I appreciate it. You didn't have to, but thank you. We're trying to talk about OKRs and the metrics that you could be tracking as a designer throughout your key metrics meetings, throughout the days, months and years at which you work with a specific company. So, right, I mean, as a solo designer, that's a very different question, and you get very different informations, but yeah.
Silence, wench. I do not wish to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.
I mean, Zanera, hi, welcome on in. And Really Angry Hedgehog, hi, welcome on in. Really Angry Hedgehog, I have a thing for you. I have a thing for you. Yes, I have a thing for you, in a way. You may see, I don't exactly know if you can. I don't exactly know if you... Well, come on in, RX Code. I don't exactly know if that's a thing. You have so many badges already. But I know it's not the closest thing. I have a high sticker on my face. Have a good look. RX Code. The pixel art hedgehog that we did on Tuesday has been added to the bits badges you can have. So it is somewhere. It is somewhere in the bits badge tier, right there. It's tiny, and I'm not exactly sure I like it entirely, but it looks pretty cool on the bigger scale, right? On the tiniest scale, it's breaking a bit, but it has been added. It's the 100k bits, which I don't want you to drop 100k. Don't do that. But yeah, it's there. It's somewhere. It's added. Has been changed yesterday, and at some point, we will. I don't think it's a good idea to drop like 100k bits in one go. That's like not a good idea. At some point, specifically in some of the next streams that we will do, maybe maybe next week, I think we will do more design for the bits badges, and we'll see what we can do with them to make them pretty good looking, maybe, or other things. I don't exactly know what we can like do as a design, but we have a lot of options, so we will work on that at some point for sure. Now back to our regular topic. Let me read. They are not, I mean, bits emotes are accessible only if you used or if you spend a lot of emotes. So a lot of bits in the channel. I guess Really Angry Hedgehog has 2 of them already. I think one of these 3, I think you got the coin, which is related to the first K. So I guess that answers your question. Then these 3 are the bits emotes that we have, if that's the question. Or were you asking on who? No, okay. So these are the 3 that are available now, because no one reached, right? I guess. Yeah, I know. I know it's in the badges, but we don't have more spots for the bits emotes. I'm guessing if someone reaches the 10k cheer bits at some point, we will have a new slot, and so in which case there will be a new slot for an emote dedicated to the one that is after, which I guess is the 25k bits emote, which seems like a fucking lot, but yeah. So yeah, that was the there are things that you can do to receive bits for free, if I remember correctly. You can like watch ads, or like have a thing that watch ads for you, and then it gives you bits for free. But yeah, well,
Really _angry _hedgehog cheered X 3780. You're boring me. Do something interesting.
$3,780 bits. In one go. Well, thank you. I can't turn into a hedgehog, but I can turn into a toast. Thanks a lot for the biddies. We appreciate the biddies. I don't know why. Why? What did that give you as a... You cheered 5k, you cheered 1k, we cheered... Bit leader, yes. Thanks a lot. Oh, you can be supportive. I appreciate it. It's a weird way to be supportive. Of things you don't do. Or supporting a French person. That's even weirder to me, right? It makes no sense. Yeah, Scott, there is like two, right? I'd say the French part is the most. I appreciate it has become one of your Twitch homes. How can I say that? Not enjoy, but like yeah, I appreciate it. Good. Good. Weird, but good. Oh, so 25k bits is 300. Well, knowing the fact that they spent 300k bits to get the hedgehog emotes, right? That, I mean, that should speak for itself. And then, yeah, currently you are on 10k. Oh yeah, so you reached 10k bits. Damn. Let me check. So we have it when 25k bits badge emote thingy that we can have now. It's available. So we could. How much is it? It's 112 by 112. And it will go back to the OKR right after that. I need to fix that. You get a gold nuggets. It's an old gold nuggets. Not a lot of people have the gold nuggets. I didn't make a huge mistake right there. That's not the one that we wanted to open. I want to open this. So, if I were to take this one, duplicate it, and then I know you still have just the one bit badge as your channel badge, which I appreciate. You could have subbed. Make things better. Let me scale that shit to 112. It is true, it is one of the spikiest one. I can't deny that. It's a 1.5 update, meaning shite. Meaning everything is fucked. Right, so if we do that, that's pixelated halfway. You don't sub? Well, don't sub then. Can I select this and then here do 112? Like, is that an option? It is. And now they are aligned. Okay, good. We have this. Do you want this as your... Scott, what did you do? What did you do? You clicked the button. You clicked the wrong button. That's not the right button. Didn't get one.
Really _angry _hedgehog cheered x100. Stop feeling the need to make things for me ass. I support you because I like to do so. It's my choice, and I don't ask for things in return.
That's true.
AAOA_ just gifted 5 subs.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the support nonetheless. And Nishit, you now have a sub. So no more ads. No more ads. I don't know why it made you 4 months in a row, but it's 4 months in a row, I guess. So, KK Sparkles, which I think we've seen once in chat, Squishy Fox, which I think we've seen twice in chat, and Kitty Ants, which arrived in chat for the first time this week, and Andy, the pizza guy, who haven't been here in a bit, got a thing. Yeah, no, I know. I think it's a bit of a sad thing for me right now to just use this. I would love to do something a bit better. Like, you unlocked the thing, basically, so it's like a reward for yourself. I don't make the rules. The channel point for the 5 gifted is I gift 5 sub to the channel. I don't know where it lands. If it lands on you, it lands on you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But also, aren't you pissed at all times? Isn't that like your base? All right. Did I do that? I did that.
Anonymous
yes.
gifted really _angry _hedgehog a subscription. An anonymous
Who?
user gifted a tier 1 sub to really _angry _hedgehog.
Who did that? Is it you yourself anonymously gifted the sub to yourself? Can you do that? Can you gift a sub to yourself? I think you may be able to. Shows 5 different names? What do you mean? Yeah, I am really speechless. That's what happened. That's a good reference. That is a good reference. And now we have a hype train. What the fuck?
Untitled Text 100.
Oh yeah, no, it says 4 months for you. I'm guessing it either you subbed yourself anonymously, or Scott gifted you sub, or Aiden gifted you sub. But we are already at 47% of a hype train, which is our first hype train of the month. Oh shit! Thanks a lot for the hype train, but keep it there, or make it go to 69% and don't go above it. You have a choice. You have a choice. Either 69% or it doesn't move. But yeah, it was not you. Are you sure about that? I don't know. I don't know. Nishit, I think it's because you were subbed before, and so it's like the 4th month in a row. Because he's screaming. They are screaming on their side. So that's what happened. Me was the Goku scream earlier, right? That's the me. Which I can't do because my neighbors came back. It was not me, you know, that type of stuff. I'm scared.
Really _angry _hedgehog just gifted 10 subs.
See? I need to fix that fucking thing on the side. But you got Rosea, good. Weirdo, good. Sneak More, which I don't know. Amplu, Azorka, Mirano, Neptune, Figma, Tanya, and Jackson. Thanks a lot for the 10. I appreciate that. That pushed us to level 2. I guess. At 11%. Level 4 at 11%. But thanks a lot for the 10 gifted. I appreciate that. Yeah, level 4. I can't read for shit. You know that. Why? That's my question. Why? And we're still at 0 out of 69 for today. By the way, we lost followers. We are closer to not being at 1K again. If people decide to unfollow, we'll regress and go back to under 1K soon. Which might happen. Might happen. Oh no, I mean, you explained yourself earlier. I never understand why people are spending money on free stuff. I mean, I appreciate it. That doesn't mean I can't not understand. So yeah, I don't get the I don't get the on me. That's the thing. I mean, no, like, it's not free stuff. It's your time. but it's also my time. But it makes no sense to me. But I appreciate it. That music is really weird. But fun. But yeah, level 4, 11%, so we are not at 69%, so either we need to go back to 69 or stay there. You have 2 minutes. Don't push yourself on the hype train. Please. Please. Alright, so I just did this, which makes no sense, but makes a bit of sense, but makes no sense. That's one of the reasons why I don't understand, but I do understand. Not understand, I do appreciate the support nonetheless. It's just, as you said multiple times, you don't give a single fuck about the type of work that I'm doing, and also don't understand it, but still support, which make me grateful for your support. Appreciate it. He's a nice person. He's a nice dude. Indeed. Alright, no more hype train. Unless someone decides to do something, but we did good. What the fuck is that? That's a dolphin. Okay, good. We got a dolphin. Right, that happens. Enjoy the dolphin emotes. I've never seen this collection. That's fine. So, Nishit. Going back to the original subject. Thanks a lot for the outro, everyone. I appreciate it. All of them? That's... Aiden, your financial situation needs to be fixed at some point in your life. It doesn't seem to be happening soon, but you need to fix your financial situation with your bank and the way that you take care of everything in your finances. Right? That seems to make sense to me. Alright. So. This shit. To reframe for everyone who wasn't here in the beginning, we are talking about OKRs, which are objective key results, and the way that we can define key results as designers, which is the most difficult one to be able to define metrics that can be tracked for something as subjective as visual things, right? So it's a bit of a difficult subject and a tad complicated one. So if I were to simplify organization to something a bit more like simple, let's say we have like 2 teams instead of 3 inside of a company, right? So that's I'm doing this because it's a bit easier to zoom in. So the blue thing at the top is the company objectives. The colored one under that are the teams inside of the company. So, right, and then the tiny ones are just linked to the teams, and they are the OKRs or the goals for said teams. So the goals that you're defining at a team level need to be aligned in a way with the company OKRs. So basically, if I were to be real with what I need to do, here we should have somehow something like this, right? We should have maybe 4 or 3. Let's say 3, right? The company has got 3 main goals to reach for the year or for the quarter or for whatever, and then the teams have defined amount of goals specifically for their teams. So the design one may have just 1 or 2. Usually I tend to go, if it's a quarter by quarter basis, have a good Caesar salad. That seems pretty cool. But thanks a lot for everything. I appreciate that. The goal that I'm doing on a quarterly basis, I usually do 1 or 2, but usually just 1. And then if it's a yearly basis, I do 2 or 3. So I can go back here. So, that could be interesting. Give it to you. The complexity of the goals that I put to myself or to my team of designers, and I say to my teams because sometimes we are more than just me in the design team, but that doesn't happen often, but it happens. So for the times when it's a quarterly goal, it's a simple-ish and achievable goal. When it's a yearly goal, it's a bit more complex or difficult to achieve, or more on a vision-based goal. So, how can I explain that without an itchy nose? A simple goal, as I said earlier, a simple goal may be the getting less functional questions by the tech team, right? That could be one, or getting more usability questions by the tech team, or doing more user testing with some clients, things like this. That's the easily trackable and metricable things, right? You did 0 last quarter, and then this quarter you did 8, so you have like an increase, and then the next quarter you need to try to do either the same base level of 8 or more, depending on the thing that you want to have, right? So in terms of user testing, you can do that. So that's a base thing for quarterly. In terms of yearly, and niche that may not be applicable on your side because it's project by project basis and not a company-wide thing that you're doing. But on my side, on my yearly goal, I have the refinement of our UI kit to make sure that everything is up to date with the latest trends and behavior of usability inside of our Figma file and inside of our products. So making sure that the accessibility of our components inside of the design file is or are met, and making sure that the design in itself is still aligned with our target audience, our clients, and our vision for the future of the products that we are creating. So these ones, which are on a yearly basis, are pretty easy for me because we just have like 3 products. I'm saying 3, but like 3 products, main products. For you on an agency-based company or service-based company, the thing that you're creating specifically for the clients that are coming in your company and asking you to work for them for a specific amount of time, it's a limited amount of time, right? So you can't really do that types of metrics, but also it's not a metricable goal, which is like, it's a bit of a difficult subject. And so the longer the goal, or the time lapse from today to the end of the goal, the longer it is, the most vague and unmetricable your OKR is trackable. The shorter the time is, the easiest it would be to track and add numbers to it. So in a small time frame, you can say, I want to have X amount of meetings per week and not more than that. In the longer time frame, you need to have something that is more on a conceptual level, or at least I recommend a more conceptual level goal rather than a trackable goal. That may be a very personal thing, but that might work with you. So in your agency, the OKR that you need to be aligned with the company OKR. So, or like goals. If, as I said earlier, if your company main goal is to get more clients, get paid more, and that's the base 2 goals that they have, and then they have, like, let's say if we use these ones, if they have like a third one that I can't come up with right here, yours needs to be tied to one or more of the company goals. So if your goal on a company side is to get more clients, you have, which is an acquisition goal on the tech team or product teams, you need to make sure that the thing that you're creating are improving the acquisition. So that's a goal that you can have, right? You could say creating a better landing page for our company that would drive conversion. And so conversion, acquisition, kind of the same thing. You could design ads that go, I don't like that, that's more for marketing type of things, but the collaboration thing that I talked about earlier could work here, making sure that that's aligned with your brand guidelines. Did you do the branding of your company? I don't know that. Because no, okay. So you can't really take this one into consideration. Let me think. But that could be, if that's interesting to you, right? As always, that could be. Syrians, hi, welcome on in. You got a sub earlier. I guess it was one of mine. It's not me. It's you need to sing thanks Scott. Scott's redeemed a channel point reward that is called Gift 5 Sub, where when someone, well, redeem it, I need to gift 5 sub. So gift 5 sub, and it landed on you. So Nishit, you said you don't have brand guidelines. Are you saying that it's bothering you that you don't have brand guidelines, or are you saying that it's brand guidelines are bothering you? Because I can read your messages in different ways. But Thiliant, how are you? How was your day? How was your week? It's Friday. I hope you're good. I hope your day was good. Well, I hope your day will be good if it's the morning for you. Yeah, but Scott, in order to press the button on your side, you need to be here enough to be able to redeem the thing. So, thanks, Scott. Thanks, Paul. But okay, I understand that. So, you don't need to have it. It's better to have them. So, in terms of if you have like a yearly goal, you could yearly goal yourself, saying that in a year from now, I want to be able to have put in place branding guidelines for our company, and that's like an OKR for yourself and your design team of one through the year, right? And so you need to put that in place through the years and make sure that it's a well documented and well written piece of content that your entire teams, like the devs, the sales, the marketing, the CTO, and like the direction, everything, like everyone can read and understand easily. So if that's the case, if that's something that is interesting to you, you could put that into your yearly goal, right? You will attempt to have a well defined branding, right? That could be a thing. Scott, I know, but still, you pressed the button. I pressed another button afterward, yes, but you pressed the button, so you initiated the thing. So if you have a goal of creating your own component system, yes, that could be an OKR for you. As always, as another reminder, I said that earlier, but right, you need to remember that your OKRs, depending on their length of time, you need to have achievable but challenging things. So if if you think that as a one-person team, with the workload of your client's projects, the workload of your company's project, and the potential workload of creating the company-owned like systems of components, you can achieve a well-put component system that can be used throughout the company. Then if you think it's achievable, a bit challenging but achievable, put that in your OKRs. If it's a yearly thing, if it's like a 2-month thing, buy mine. It will be easier. Shameless plug. Uh, no shit, that's the wrong button. But yeah, like if you want to create the thing yourself, which I really recommend you to do, rather than buying mine, right? Mine is fine. It's a good UI kit. It's the best I ever created, but it doesn't mean it will fit with you specifically. So, right? If you're already working on it and you have like a base, then use that base and put it in your OKRs as if it's a yearly thing, as I said, and you think from today to next year at the same date, you will have the entirety of it finished with documentation and explanation of how to use things. Because remember, if you are creating a design system, and I'm air quoting this one, if you're creating a design system in itself, it needs to contain a lot of things that a UI kit doesn't have. So, quick reminder for anyone here. A UI kit is a set of reusable components that you can use, right? A design system contains a UI kit, but also contain the behavior of said components with each other, contains the behavior of or the usage of other things throughout your company. You could have like a branding system inside of your design system because they are interlinked in a bit, and you could also have the thing that is called the tone of voice. So the way that the emails that go through your company or come from your company and go out to client are worded, the type of sentence that are used, the fact that all sentence should be turned into positives, even if the thing that you are basically saying is a negative thing, right? So all of these are design system based. But if it's just a UI kit, or as you said, a component system, which is pretty good, it's like just after UI kit, but before the design system, which I guess I can reuse that term for mine. So thank you for that. Yeah. So getting the system in design system into a UI kit give you a lot of things. So a component system is really interesting. So if you can, and that's my recommendation to you, if you can, try to explain the behavior of your components inside of themselves and with others, right? So one of my examples of these are everything related to input fields. So let's say we have this right here, which basically shouldn't be this. We should use this one, I guess, and then I can do that, add a field, right? So right here, for example, that's a very simple example, but this is a form, like a list of fields usually set in forms, right? And then you could have behavior of this not being an input field, but just being the input itself. In which case, if you are in a form in itself, instead of having the same spacing in between everything, you would probably say, well, we will need a bit more space in between all of them. However, this one and this one have a smaller like spacing, just to give the user the sense that this is a set of things and you don't really understand, and then here you have one entry and then a second entry and a third entry, and here it feels like you have 4 different entries because they have the same amount of spacing, right? So these types of behavior, these are the things that you need to map and explain to the devs and the people who will use these type of things, right? So that's just a detail. So going back to the base. Yes, do that as your OKR. I really recommend you to just say, if it's a yearly thing, right, give you the ability to go through, I think you shared that at some point, and it's I don't have access to it because it's private, but don't open it. Like I'm logged out. Can't access. But do not open it. That's no use.
Bernard XF is now following.
Bernard XF. I'm thinking French, but welcome on in. How are you? Who are you? How did you find the stream? I hope you're good. Yeah, so you can I share that on stream, Nishit? Is that okay with you? I think yes, because you shared it in the chat, but you know. Okay, good. So you did most of the things already. Basically, I have things to say, of course, but that's me. You're from Brazil. Welcome on in. Bernard is a very French name. I'm laughing for some reason that I will explain in a second. But I'm not laughing at you. But yeah, welcome on in from Brazil. We have a lot of Brazilian in here, so that's cool. Yeah, so I'm laughing because on Nutty Stream, which is another amazing streamer who gave me like a lot of things. I mean, tips on how to do all the shit that I have on my stream, like all the elements that are animated and all that mainly come from Nutty. But one thing that he said in one of his stream last week or at the beginning of the week is there is only one cast of people who introduce themselves as their country, and these people are Brazilians. And so we created on his stream, an automation where when someone arrive in a stream and in their first 10 messages they say they are from Brazil, it counts one up. And so your first message was hi from Brazil, which is just exactly what we said. So that's pretty cool. I like that. That's why I'm laughing. But welcome on in. I appreciate it. How did you find the stream? I want to know though. So Nishit, yes, you have a lot of things that are pretty cool. Regarding the thing that happened with Figma, most of your options could be replaced with the Boolean variant thingy. So you may be having I think, yeah, the end. I think you were. I think your third message was because I asked how to pronounce your name, and then you said I'm Brazilian or something like this. Let me check. I need to check. Where are you at? Here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? No. Really? You didn't say, but I have a feeling that you said you were from Brazil at some point. I can't see. Well, nonetheless, it's fine. Anyways. Interesting. You're a developer. Well, we are a designer channel most of the time. We also do a lot of OBS stuff, making sure that anyone who wants to start streaming have all the tools that they need to do weird shit like transition like this, and making sure that things make sense, and Figma review, and right now just chatting, mostly on Friday, just chatting, and so that's what happened. But welcome on in. I appreciate you being here. We appreciate developers, even though we trash developers most of the time for not implementing our designs properly. You are welcome in here. The new property are working very, very easily. We can do like a bit of not a review, but like a simple thing. You have 16, 16, so that you can do that, and you have 16, 16. That makes sense, right? 16, 16, like same thing here. So you could easily. That's a bit of a weird thing because you have many options. Navbar, if possible. I'm guessing this is your logo. PayPal allow crypto at the beginning of the year? A bit before? I think, but yeah. So if that's initiative, that's the logo section. Oh yeah, your frames are named. That's not. Are you throwing shade at me? I see. You're right. I don't name shit, so it makes sense. So yeah, that's your logo thingy. Okay, fine. You get a pass. You get a pass. So what I would recommend you to do is put a logo rather than this, right? Even though I understand, but it's just like create a component with a logo that can then be used. One of the examples I can show you is this one. Oh yeah, nah, but you don't need one that is like done. Like the one in Community, I think has been made in with nothing. It's just an icon and a text next to it, just to like kind of create a fake logo, like on the navigation thingy, right? This is our logo, and it's a component. What I'm saying is make a component for it that can be reused in that way. That means that if at some point in your entire company they decide that, well, starting today, the component for our logo is not black, but we will have something pink, right? It's updated all the way at all points. So if in your base system you have the ability to just like have this as a component with the current logo, specifically if this would be used inside of your company, or with a generic logo. I think I've made some with like very generic logo. The one that I wanted to show you here was this one, which, where is it? Here. We did this, right? That's our company logo thingy in the settings, because our product can have a logo that like changed from the clients that are using them. So when they arrive here, what they see is this, which is basically what you did, right, with the square pattern in the background, and then the logo that we have here and here. And then these logo would be used there. And so if the client is just using their logo, if they change it here, they will see it change immediately there. So that's the technicality of things, right? It's just because the devs did it this way, but the update is immediate for me as a designer, but also in the client side. When they change the logo here, it will change the thing on the other side. So if you can do that here as well, like using a component rather than a frame, that will be a bit easier for everyone. And so in here, in this specific top navigation page or frame, you can also have the logo set up, and specifically, as I showcased, a wide one, which is the one that you already have, and a smaller one that is usually used for the fav icons, the website shortcut if used, and if you have a retracted navigation at some point, you can also use it here. Otherwise you have most of your things that are good. You have some accessibility issue, but as you said earlier, you have some uncertainty with colors, which, right, makes a lot of sense. And as we always say, color is the most difficult one. If you want to be more confident with your colors and you want to have something that is accessible, let me just go fetch the link, because that will help you a ton. So the foundation plugin is amazing. We shared it before, but let me share it again. So foundation, how it works: you go here, you start foundation. So far so good, right? So you have this that pops in, this big ass, I mean right now a bit of a big ass thing because I zoomed in, and then it's to create palettes and styles and everything. It's based on already common design system that are pretty popular. So Orbit is pretty cool in terms of some of the property that you have inside. Atlassian give you a limited amount of colors. Material give you a lot of colors, and Ant Design give you the same amount of colors, right? So you have like some basic things, which is pretty easy. But let's say you want to orbit something, and then you have a specific color that you want to have. So you can either do an Xcode if you wanted to. Just don't use this because it's not right. It's not exact. Like every time you will take the color, it doesn't give you, like the eyedropper is not exact and right. So as long as you have something right, just do this. But let's say you have you have your base color, which is, if I remember correctly, you have some type of a blue-ish color. So let's say that's your color. What you do after that is just you generate a palette, which always put itself at at 0, 0 on the page, which sometimes is a bit annoying. But you get this. And so this frame gives you, and that's a specific one with Orbit, give you a light color, a normal color, and a dark color. That's the base one, and then you have a darker that is not used a lot. But the way that it works is you have 3 mains, so light, normal, dark, and then you have light, light hover, and light active, giving you directly the states, the color states for your buttons and for anything that needs to have like this specific color. It also gives you some type of information about the accessibility on top of black or on top of white. So right now you can see that it passes for black, but it doesn't pass for white. However, if you go here, every time you have like AA or AAA, you get the pass. So it passes for most of the thing, and then on dark, it just goes away. The black doesn't go over in terms of accessibility thing. So that's with Orbit. But if for some reason you wanted to use not Orbit but Atlassian, because it's a limited palette of color, which I would recommend, you can do that and you get the same thing. You get the same base, right? And then you just have your accessibility and your Xcode, RGB code, and your base, so B50, 75, 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500, which is a bit weird in terms of naming when you're used to name your color based on material design. But it kind of works. If you wanted to have this with grays, as you are asking, you can, right, go into gray thingy, but if you go to gray, depending on which type of gray you want, if you want like a cooler gray, you would need to go into something a bit more dark in order for your very light to work. However, I mean, you can go with white and it will create darker shades and it can't create lighter thing because you're already on white. So, right, like let's say you are here for your slate gray, or let's say you have more of a reddish warmer gray, you go in here, that works as well. For your product you wouldn't want a warmer gray because your base is blue, but it works. So yeah, you can generate palette with this one, and so you have multiple options. You have the options to generate tokens, to generate palettes, or generate styles. If at this moment I were to click on create styles, which I will do, if I do create styles, as you can see, it says 10 styles created, and now I have foundation, gray, and I have everything here already created for me, and I don't need to do anything. So in your thing right here, if you want to have this or these colors auto-generated, you can use foundation using your Xcode right here, and then launching the palettes, and it will either, like if you want to, it can create the styles for you, and you can, as always, create something that is like you can change the names if you need to. The basic thing is it will just use the name of the color itself, because it can like detect basically in CSS where it's placed. So right now this one is brown, even though it's not, but it's kind of brown, and that's red. And you have like a bit of a violet somewhere here, which is not exactly true, but it is. So right, you can play with that and see how colors are named. That's also an interesting thing. I like this one. But it's a very useful plugin foundation, creating like palettes and colors and everything. So maybe useful, because that way, instead of having to do all the accessibility tests on your own, you rely on the plugins to do them for you automatically when you create a palette. So, right. Communication colors, we have them on Community, and they are pretty cool. I like the one that I created, of course. Extremely biased here. But my regular things, even though all of these ones are not exactly accessible, not entirely, they are, but not entirely. Like I have these behavior that I've merged from everything that I've seen over the years. So we are usually having blue for actions, purple for pending, yellow, orange for warning, green for success, and red for error. However, that is a very westernized views for these colors. If you are in some part of Asia, sometimes, that depends on you, that depends on the target audience and everything, sometimes you can revert success and error, having red for success and green for something else that is not an error. Error is usually black, but red for success happens on some Chinese things. So you need to know about that. So maybe in India it's also something that I don't know about, which is probable that I have no knowledge of how Indians communities are using colors. So if you know better than me, which is usually the case, follow what the country in which you are is using for color and accessibility and all that. Hey. So you've made what Kane is calling the boilerplate of a file that can be reused over and over, right? Yeah. These types of things I don't personally like, because I don't have any use case for this, but if it's useful for you, use that specifically for your type of business. That makes a lot of sense. For mine, it doesn't, because we don't have like anything about, like, we would never have anything about the project, because we don't give a shit. We don't have project. We have new feature that needs to be implemented in our products. So yeah, but everything in here is really important, specifically if you are in an agency. It makes a lot of sense to gather information about the business, the way that you could potentially fix or like find a solution for the problem. So everything that is here, right, that makes a lot of sense. And then cover could be useful, could also be changed for something that is more aligned with the client themselves. Because the project name could be, you could replace that with the client logo if they have one. If they don't, then you use look at the project name. And then if they have like a very specific design language that is already in place, or that they already know that they want, right? You could have a cover that is aligned with that design language, just to make sure that you are not flooded with things like what I have, right? So if you are here, like I have this because most of my things have the exact same design language. Also, I was waiting for this one to happen at some point. Thank you for the bits. So yeah, so this is a pretty useful templates. However, however, I need a pee. That's true. Let me go pee, and I will tell you my however right after. I can do that. Thanks a lot. So we're back. So, for anything that is inspiration, currently working... for anything that is about inspiration, I would have that in another tool compared to Figma. The reasoning, my reasoning behind it, behind this is it may be easier for stakeholder and clients to access something that isn't Figma. Even though for us, right, Figma makes a lot of sense and it's pretty easy to understand, for someone who isn't used to a design tool and arrive on this interface, they may be a bit lost in the thing that they can have, remembering, as always, that when you arrive on a Figma file for the first time, the pages, even though you can't see them right now, the pages are closed, so you don't have the thing that is like visible, that you have more content right there. So all that, knowing all that, having an interface like Notion could be better, even though I don't like it. Having an interface like Milanote or Milanote could be great if you know this tool. This tool is pretty cool, specifically for inspiration. It's like it's a whiteboard similar to Figma and FigJam, but mainly for inspiration. So this is the link. I love them. They're great. As a designer myself, I'm using everything in Figma, right? That makes a lot of sense. But if I have to communicate with clients, I will probably use this or a Notion file or something else. If the client is using, I don't know, PowerPoint, and they prefer PowerPoint, then like PowerPoint can work. But yeah, these things, right? So getting something that makes more sense to the client rather than you. The benefits of what you created is you as the designer will always have everything in one place, and so when you're working you can go back to the inspiration and go back to what the client is about and what's the how might we statement that is needed for the project. All of these things can be looked up in a click. You just switch page and you have your content. However, for the communication collaboration with the client, that may be a bit more complicated. So that's why I don't really recommend that for anything that is related to the about and inspiration. You can, however, for yourself, once you have everything set in the Milanote or anything else, you can just set a big ass screenshot and just import it inside of Figma, and then you have your access, quick access to your inspiration and your about and everything. Or if it's like a Notion board, you can do the same thing. You can do a screenshot. I think there are also options to just import from Notion with some plugins, but right, you do you do fine. And then everything that is feedbacks and critiques, because the feedbacks and the critiques that you will receive will have the same like behavior. It will be a bit difficult for someone who is from something else than a design background. Getting feedbacks and critiques on a Figma file may be difficult for them to like go in and just travel around and see what you did. It could be interesting to set up something else for the feedbacks. Either it's you taking notes on your phone, taking notes on Notion, all these things. But if you are expecting the clients to come in and post comments and all that, maybe a bit difficult. So in terms of project boilerplates like these ones, it's a great thing to do. It's useful for the designer, it's not useful for the collaboration with the client. So if that's not the case, if you don't care about, or if it's not the point, right, getting the collaboration or the client collaborating with you in a single file, that's good. Just this template is good, but it may be a bit difficult for one client. So yeah, going back to the color thingy, which disappeared for some reason. I guess something happened. But yeah, in terms of colors, like you may have to, what can I say then? Like use foundation to make sure that everything works, and also on what I can remember here, yeah. Shit, I think you threw me out. That was weird. Watching blurbs? What do you mean? So yeah, so you have some accessibility things that are not accessible. Makes sense. Specifically in the component. I mean, you can post links really in GreyHedgehog if you want to, as always. I will do that. I think I can't. It's pretty good. I'm happy you can't hear it. I like it though. That's the. I like the. I like this. Sadly, the MCA and shit, I can't play that on stream for real. That may have been a bit loud on your side, I don't know. It is. That's the thing, Aiden. It is because it's a cover of the Unknown from Into the Unknown is Frozen 2, I guess. I think. But yeah, because it's a cover are copyrighted, sadly, by the original thing. Like, a cover is not something that you can have. And because the music in the background is the same as the original, basically, and it's the same notes and tempo and everything, the auto-discovery on YouTube and Twitch will flag it as a copyrighted song, even though it's not the original. And that's also one of the reasons why, if I, which will probably never happen because I don't sing, but if I were to sing something with a bit of a karaoke type of stream, DMCA directly, immediately DMCA. So yeah, we don't like that. We don't like those. Never. Singing stream, never. Never. Will never happen. Unless I'm extremely drunk and streaming, which both of them at the same time seems unlikely, but we never know. Yeah. Nishit, you tell me when you come back, if you come back. It couldn't. That's the thing. Can't happen. Ace bar is a very difficult thing to do, to be honest. It seems easy, but it's a hard content. It's a lot of thinking on my end. That's why we don't have a lot of Ace bar happening, and I need to format it a bit better than the one I used to do. It's not the podcast thing. Podcasts are easy. Live content with the audience is extremely hard because first of all, you're live, you don't know what someone will say, and you don't control anything. A podcast is like very easy because it's pre-recorded, and then if someone says something that is dumb or racist or whatever, I can cut that out. live content, specifically Ace Bar, which is kind of open, with anyone can come in, it's a bit more of a difficult thing. So that's why if we do another Ace Bar at some point, it will be with a selected guest rather than open like we used to do. Not that something happened in the previous one, it's just when we did something and we had some discussion with other other people in chat before, that made me think about yeah, I mean, we already have a restriction now on who can come into the stream chat on Discord, so that's a thing. And Nishit will come back. The thing that I wanted to say is this, for example, these two colors, this green and this white, don't pass the accessibility test at all. At all. But yeah, that's such a small thing, right? No, Aiden, I mean in the Discord channel here. You have the stream chat, which is a locked channel, and only people who come into general as a voice, I can then move them here, which basically Ace Bar will kind of die, and potentially we will move like the cap of 4 to 6 for specific Ace Bar. But yeah, that's the base thing. I think this one will go away, and then this one will be moved or changed to like allow 6 people. At a max point. But yeah. Yeah, so that's some of the things that I wanted to say. And in terms of you said, I don't exactly know how to do the new property thing. So yeah, I mean, usually Ace Bar, we don't have a lot of chatting at the same time, right? That's one of the things it works, but we don't have a lot of people chatting at the same time, so it's just one conversation that flow through. But yeah, so Nishit, here your property, the thing that you need to do in order to have the props working is your section at the top, right? You have in the property you have a yes no, which is, does it have an icon? Yes. Does it doesn't have an icon? No, right? That's the base thing. And then you have the instance icon with yes no, which I guess you did an instance swap for this one, and you named it icon, so that's why it's conflicting. So you need to change that name, and you need to change that name, or you need to change that name. That depends. But first thing first, here, instead of an auto layout on the center left, you want it to be center aligned for everything. That will give you a lot more things in the future, but right, that's just one. Then these can go away. You can get rid of them, and then you can select your icon and do a Boolean layer property. And so this one is icon and then right because it's on the right. I'm just using the arrow. That doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. You can type icon right, it's just easier for me. And then because I know that I will have or want the same thing on the other side, potentially having an icon on the left side, I will just duplicate that, put it on the left side, and then release that. Get another one of icon left, right? That's making sense. And then all of these, instead of a fixed, I should hug content. And here, instead of a fixed, it should hug content. Right now I clicked on everything, which is basically dumb, but it's fine on me. So that's your base, right? Or at least that should be your base. If you do this, now you have the ability to say, okay, it has an icon on the left, or it has just an icon on the right. And so that's just 2 toggles, and you can have nothing. The only thing that is annoying with these specific is that on your original one, you had 24 on both sides rather than 16. You can't really do anything about that, sadly. The only thing that you could potentially do is lower the space top and bottom, so you are 12 right now, and you could just make it 8 so that it's a bit more squished. But right, that's, I mean, you decide what you want to do. But that just create this row, meaning that the bottom one is basically the same thing. And so here I can delete that, make sure that my bottom one is hugging content, make sure that this is hugging content as well instead of fill container. That would be way more, like way easier to fix. And so then if I select all of these and then duplicate them, yes, it can be applied with buttons as long as you have a specific thing set up. So now I have these icons on one side, and I want to add my property that I already have. So property of icon left, I can select that, and then for everything that is on the icon right, I can select this one. And then the thing that you need to do specifically on that tab format, which, to be honest, your outer line is not exactly needed, but I mean, we will, on the way that I will set it up. So right now we have 0. I want it to be 4 at the bottom. So these tabs right there needs to be hugging content, and currently you have this as a line under, and what I would do is just take my base, do 0,4 to push the thing at the bottom, and then add a stroke that would be just a bottom stroke. That will always be fine, and then you can change like the colors of all of these. I don't think I can access your color scheme at the moment, but by doing that you can limit your you can limit the amount of frame and subframe that you need to have inside of these things. Right, so let's get rid of that. Can I select all of them? Yes, I can. Let's delete that, and then what that means is this value and this here may not be useful, right? You may not need the outer frame. So in order to fix that, which is a bit annoying, you need to select this as your base and do Command Option C to copy the properties, and then Command Option V to duplicate and paste the property on this one. Meaning that now you can go in and do Command Shift G to get rid of it. And then reapply an horizontal alignment, which is fucking annoying. I absolutely agree. But that helps a lot, right? You just get this and you have dumbass right now, but that's fine. Let me just fill that with white. Now I have this and I can just get rid of this icon, get rid of this one, get rid of both of them, and my tab is still having the same underline properly placed and all that. So that's the base. So I would do that, which is a bit annoying, right? In terms of what you do, and then you can select all of these, retract them, do that, and now it's align and will. Align and will. So that way, your content is good. This will resize itself. What do you mean, how to remove underline? Oh, like sometimes you need no underline. I mean, you should always have an underline in a way, but I would do a bit of spacing on both sides, however. I would do something like 8 on both sides. So the reason behind this is this. If you have that, which you can't see right now, let's have this with 40, right? If you have this, that way it creates a constant line under, and then you can say, well, this state is selected, right? So if this is your default, what I would do is not use pure black. That's a me thing, and I mean, you know, I usually use like 80% or 60% depending on what we need, but maybe the underline needs to just be at 60%, and if we do that, that means here you have your baseline for your tabs with all that. And then potentially what you could do if you wanted to is specifically on the hover and active, you put the line at 2 pixels, getting in them a bit higher, right? So that gives you a bit of a visual cue that one of them is more selected than the others, right? And so if I say I don't need any icons on this one, I do need an icon on the right for this one, I don't need any icons on this one, and I don't need any icon on this one as well. That gives us this view. However, if this one doesn't need any icon either, you have this. And maybe the space in between right here is not enough, and so you want to go back here, select this row, and instead of 8, 8, you do 16, 16, right? To get more space in between your tabs. And that might be what you need. Do you have the prototype made? No, you didn't. So that's an option. Not saying it's the right one, but yeah, I'm just thinking at the moment, what can I do? Can I do that? We can't have endpoints. Interesting. So, I mean, that way you can easily select both all of your tabs and say, well, we need tabs with icons today. So you just swap the thing and add the icons first or last, depending on where you want to place them. But like if you wanted to have a version without a line, you can easily say, well, my default doesn't have a line, right? So my default has a 0 border at the bottom. And so that gives you this directly. And so while hovering, you will have the line under that will just, I'm guessing this is this one, hover, which I would just put at 1. And then let's do the prototype so I can see how. So mouse enter, you go here with a smart animate with an ease in and out. On mouse leave, you go there. However, on mouse click, you go here. And then if I click back, I go back there, right? That's my main thing, meaning that here, let's see how it works. So zoom in, please. Right, so you have this that showcase, well, this one is highlighted. None is highlighted. If I highlight it, right? So sadly, you can activate multiple at the same time, but I don't know if that works though. Let me see. Can I mouse enter after delay? I can. Good. Well, that's the only thing I wanted to do. So if you do a mouse enter after delay, what that gives you is if you are on a tab that is already highlighted and then you click on it, it re-enable itself a bit later. So that means if I click on it and I go out, it doesn't have this weird flickering in the middle. So that's a thing. What the fuck happened? Oh, this one doesn't have an icon? Is it a me issue? Oh no, it's an overall issue. Okay, good. But yeah, that's one of the things that you can easily do, and specifically if you don't have an icon, right? That's just this one is weird. Right? You have your tabs. Right? I guess that's a pretty easy to manage thing. And so by doing that means you get rid of the top row and the third row right here. So in my final thing here, I get more. Can I do that? Is that an option? I get more space. Not that it's useful in any way, right? It's just I get more space. So instead of having 4 rows, I just have 2, so that I'm limiting the amount of things. And let's say that's also a thing. In my options here, I can get rid of icons. I can also get rid of the text is useful though. the state is useful, and then the style is useful. So the instant swap, however, because it's linked to all icons, I would say it would be more interesting to get the instant swap here for like swap right, and so that way you swap the right icon, and then here can I change that? No, I need to select the thing. And to the icon swap here, I need to do swap left. That way you can define things, and so what I would do is define if I have an icon on the left and then swap the icon, define if I have an icon on the right and then swap the icons. That's the base thing. Let's say your base tab at any point in time, your base tab doesn't have any icon. So you go into your properties, you get rid, you put everything to false. So by doing so, that means every time that your tab will be loaded, it will be at false as a default state. And then you can enable or disable the thing. If you know that at all times it will never have an icon except in some cases, that's the way to go. And so by just doing that, you get the ability to change state, you get the ability to change style if you wanted to, and then the ability to define if you have an icon or not an icon, which I think is pretty nice. Which also, if I remember correctly, which I do, right now I have no icon selected, and that means I don't have my instant swap messing with my content. As soon as I will enable it, I have my swap left, and it comes in, and then I can swap the icons or the instant swap right there. But as soon as I get rid of it, it disappears, so it's not needed. I mean, Figma is smart enough to know that, well, when the thing is not visible, you can't swap the thing out. So that is a way, right? You can do that. However, you could not, or you would not be able to define an active state with an icon and an inactive state without an icon. Like, it wouldn't work if you wanted to define it here. But you could technically do it here. That's an option. But it's not exactly working if you want to make it here, right? If at some point you say, well, the icon on this side goes back, you can't. With the Boolean property, you can't. It will just pop. No, you wouldn't be able to do the same thing. If you want to use the Boolean property. If you don't want to use the Boolean property, yes, of course you can. Because we use the Boolean for the icons on the left and on the right. Every time the icon is disabled, the Boolean property is disabled, and every time the icon is visible, the Boolean, like for everything right now on my layer list, if I enable, you can see that my icons are just popping in for all my things. So it's like, it's a global property, yes, indeed. But you can do that on the page. You can just say, well, this one has an icon here. Yeah, not state-based, indeed. So as with the easiness of setup right there, like you can really easily do that. And also you could say, I don't know when, but you could say, well, if it has an icon specifically here, we would have something like this. And that's an override that you can have physically to showcase to your dev, but not have in your basic Vine group, even though I don't recommend it, but it's a thing. So that is, I was about to say that is the base of, no, it's not. It's one way to get your components reduced. And so in your web component here, you would reduce this one. You would be able, because of the way that you have it set up, you would be able to get rid of most of this. Like if I do the same exercise on your input fields, because input fields are pretty easy. You also have multiple things. Let's add a field, like I can see my background. Let's get rid of that, put it outside, make it white, make it, that's a wafer. Let's get rid of the dash line, that's solid. So right here, the top section, so all of these, all of these here can basically go away. I can get rid of them, and then what I will keep, you know what? Let me just do that. So I will get rid of this one as well, and I will probably get rid of. You know what? I will probably just get rid of this one as well, but. In terms of what I need, specifically, I just need that in the component that are needed, right? So if I bring it back here, and then I make sure that this shit is like an auto layout frame, what is needed is the helper text needs to have like a layer boolean of has a helper, so helper. Then in my input right here, I need to know, like, does it has an icon? So icon. And then label, does it have a label? So same thing, right? So by doing so, these are my boolean, so I can get rid of this property here. I can get rid of help text, yes. And then type can go away, and you can just keep the states. And so here state is active, and then this one state is error. So you have this issue right there. And so by just doing that, right, if I put this new dark mode is not good for that type of content. If I just come here, right, I get my main thing. Let's duplicate it. So that's the base one. Let's say you don't need the icons, you can get rid of the icons. Let's say you don't need the label, you can get rid of the label. Let's say you need the label, but you don't need the helper. You can just do that. And then text here, you can type your text as you already did. You need to do the same thing on the label. So I can go back here, select all of them with a little target next to it. And then in my content, I call that label text. As you said, the other one is input text, and then basically the help text needs to be the same. Helper text. Why did I put a cap? I don't know. Right? But you get this, and then now, because I have a label, my label is visible. If I put the helper, I have my helper as well. And so you can then organize your property in here to make sure that they are all next to each other. So if helper is activated, then I have this, and then my label is always on top, So if there is a label, then I have my label, and my input text should be at the bottom. I mean, could be at the bottom. I don't know if it's really useful. It should be in the middle. So you define the label, then you define the content, then you define if it has an helper. If it has an helper, you define the text, and then you define if the content has an icon, even though the icon could be here. Right. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So yeah, that's a very easy way to use the Boolean property and have, as you can see, your number of property like drastically changed. However, if for some reason you have bigger text boxes, like this one for example, this is an helper text with a specific amount or specific text inside of it, right? So what I would do is go inside of my input, select all of them. Instead of having them to hug content, I will make them fill container, and then fill container in width, which right now breaks it because, right, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. So let's I will kill my neighbors, I'm telling you. I don't understand. And so this one needs to be filling the container as well. I mean, everything should be filling the container, that's the thing. Like any content inside of your thing should be filling the container in order for you to be able to do the thing that I want you to be able to do. So let's fill container here as well, and then make sure that this is 16 in between so that they are wider, right? So now you have the ability to resize. Right when I say that. That's fill container, and then here we just need this one to be filling the container, and there. Good. Okay, so this one, if we resize it, we have a bigger text, and so now you need to make sure that it's aligned at the top. That way we have this. And so the only thing that you will need to manually do is change the orientation of this text and say 0 out of 500. But it's still a helper text, and it's still at the same place. And let's say you don't need the label, it will grow to have what you need. And so that way you have just 5 component instead of all of these, which I guess it's easier to manage for you as a designer, easier to understand for the devs in a way, because they are just property, right? So it's either you have a true false for the icons or not. Let's say maybe, I don't know, maybe this one has an icon as well. It will be placed properly because it's aligned in the thing as you expect it to be, right? And then here, let's say I need the I need more text. I want to have like a bit more text in here. Let's generate 1 paragraph, right? And so this is going through, right? That's not what we want. We want to have the text that goes in to be like taking the amount of space that is available. So in order to do that, what you do is you take this element, and instead of hugging content, you make it fill container, right? And then here, or here, depending on where you want to be, you add this property of Truncate Text. And when you do that, it will just do the dot 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 at the end, meaning that now if I resize it and it has enough space to add one more line, it will add one more line for me. And so I don't need to resize anything, and then if I have enough text, it will just truncate properly. So you can do that. Like, let's say I add a label. Well, I just have enough space for 3 lines instead of 4. So if I wanted 4 lines, I would need to be here, so that, you know, easy stuff. And you just change the state, and you need to do the same thing for all states, right? That's what makes sense. So let's do that. Make fill top left, and then this, select all, truncate fill, and I guess we're good, right? Can go into focused. With focused is a bit weird. I may have made a mistake on this one. No, you did. You made a mistake. Maybe you made a mistake. I don't know. But yeah, like pretty simple thing. And right now I don't need that. I need this to be on the other side, and I need that to be just one line of text, which is regular 102, right? Yeah, 102. 102 is my base height. Very, very easy to just get everything working in no time. And then going back to the accessibility thing that we talked about in the beginning, this, even though I love light text, it would be better to be like blackish. And then in terms of accessibility as well, your base outline here, for visibility's sake, I love to have it at 2. This one, however, you have a lot of text that is not exactly working for me, but yeah. I'm looking at the label and I'm like, this may be better to have like a feel instead of anything else. This one is 8. I would do 4. That's good to know. And then 6 for everything, but that's... I say content. Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah. Shit. Yes, good. Okay, fine. Was weird. So 96 is a base. That doesn't seem... it seems okay. So yeah, with props, that's the basic overall thing. You get the ability to just select and limit the amount of variable that you have inside of Vine groups, which I think personally is a great thing. Sometimes it's breaking. Yeah. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. One way of cleaning up your things, right there. And then with the same behavior, you, how can I say? You can have, or you can say, well, maybe I really want to have two options, right? I really want to have one small options and one big option. What you can easily do is just create a property called size that you had before. So you create like a new property for a variant, and it's called like size. These one are small, and then so you duplicate all of these.
So hot. Who goes there? Zap! Whoa! With a wave of my finger and a flick of my dick, one zap from me will kill you quick, so get on your knees to suck and blow, but...
Let me just get rid of that. I mean, I need to do that first. The fuck, dude? Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So to say these ones are big. However, these ones here don't have the feel. They hug the content, and these ones right there are fixed, and that's pretty good. So this is a fixed. These 4 or 5 hug content, and these ones are fixed, meaning that if I was to have another one here that is big, I can expand it, or it can expand itself, and we could just use these ones to extend them as a beginning, as a starter. So by doing that, because you have the same property, the only thing that you define is what the fuck are the size. And then this one, if you resize it, nothing will happen, and so you don't recommend to do that. And you just have this. And that makes a lot of sense. And so let's say the big one, I'm thinking at the same time, let's say the big one have, have the text on the side. And so maybe the earlier idea is good, but it makes a lot of issues down the line. I like this a bit better, just to like really define both options. And I like that because technically speaking, they are two different elements in code. So having them defined as two different components, may be better. That's one way of doing it. And you have the same base value. If you don't have a label, your thing will be growing. If you have a label, if you don't have an icon, you can see that it takes more space on the width for the text. If you don't have an helper, the thing will take more space as well. If you don't have a label, everything will take more space. So, like, all of that is a pretty good option, potentially. The thing that you don't have at the moment, and that will for sure make your life hell later, is what we have here. So if you go into fields, as you can see, you have basic field, bigger field, and then all of the other types that are possible in input fields. So you have with buttons on the left, on the right, with an icon buttons on the left, on the right, all that shit, with double icons, with prefixes, with suffixes, with everything, like, right, all of these. What I'm doing on these sites is these are specific component, and then the thing that I just did is behaving a bit differently. So, like, the only thing that we do, even though this doesn't exist or shouldn't exist, the reason why this is like this is because when we have the helper text on error state, the helper text is changing color. So we kind of need to have a specific value for helper text in error state. So that's why in here we have the error state as well. But if I could, I would get rid of that and just have these two, as I just said. And then the states that you have on your side are defined here. And that's a bit easier. I have like my main state for labels on top, and then because they are the same label for each type and each style, we can easily have state for fields, and then the input field in itself with two states. I'm starting to be tired. So yeah, all of these options that you will need to have will make your life a bit more complicated, because right now you just have either they have an icon on the right or they don't have an icon on the right. But I mean, it could be the same, but with an icon on the left, right? That could be something. So let's say this one is another thing with left icon with a swap, and then this as a base, your left icon as a default is at false, so it's not annoying, but maybe sometimes you need an icon on the left, right? So it can be added, but it's just one thing. And so if you want to have all of the options in these, you will end up with basically one component that is filled with, like, maybe you have a button, so you replace that with another button and you create a property that is as a button, meaning that at the end of your creation for all the property, you will have like 55 properties inside of this, and that's not worth it. It's just makes no sense. So if you want to achieve this amount of components for input fields specifically, I really recommend this method because it's a bit easier to manage later on, right? You are here and you just say, all right, so now I want this field right here, and I just want this one with flag, right? And then in my specific design, well, at this moment we need an inner state for that specific screen, or maybe we don't, and it's just field, and we have something inside. Like, right, let's say here we have France, which is me, and then here we look for France. I don't know if it's FR or something else, but right, you have this, it's done, and it's not property based, because it would make a mess if it was property based. So yeah, or let's say you have, like, I don't know, India. Is it IN or is it ID? It's IN, right? Yes. Right, so it's easier for me to do that and then change their states. Like, say this one is field, so like let's change my thing to field. Doesn't change a lot of things, but right, we have this, and maybe we need a helper text right now, so we can add it after the fact. However, if we change it to error state, it will just mess up everything. So that's something that you need to do, or know, or be aware of. But it's a very complicated UI kit already. So in here, using the property, you can get rid of a lot of things, and you can, this one is a bit more complicated because you have two styles, but things on both sides in a way. So I don't exactly know how it needs to happen, but I think this is good. I think the only you will end up with one with everything on one side and just toggle, which I don't like. So yeah, you can remove the top row because it has nothing, and then just create Boolean for each things, but it doesn't help. You won't be in a better flashbang for everyone. I'm sorry. You won't really be in a better place if you just get rid of this. In order to have what we want to have work in, you need to do that, basically. And right, that's the base thing that you need to do. And then now you can get rid of that and that. And so by doing this, which I really don't recommend, by doing this, you then have the ability to say, okay, so these two are a Boolean for profile picture, and yeah, PFP is true, and then status, it's the same thing, layer Boolean status, and then your icon, same thing, right? It's an icon. And so I don't recommend this because, here specifically is fine, but I don't recommend it because it creates a lot of variable and things that you don't need. So let's do that here as well, so that we have, or you know what, let's get rid of these. Let's take these two and place them here. And the reason why I'm just copy pasting from the top is because they already have the property that I need. So that way I can just do that and then select both of these and go into layer property icon. So if I do that, right, you get rid of icon, you get rid of avatar, you get rid of status, default disable, fill outline, that makes sense, cheap text makes sense, icons, instance, I don't like that, but that's interesting. Let's get rid of it just because we can. And so let me show you up 16 beam. Okay, so what I don't like is if your chip, like, is that a thing that you want to have? If that's the case, then that's fine, but I don't think you would have status, and I mean, you didn't design it that way. You didn't have status and profile picture. So it would be very, very easy for you to mess up at some point and have this available in a design. And so maybe the dev will create them like this and think that this is the default state. And so every time they will have a chip, they will have to disable, let's say they disable this and this, and maybe they also have to disable this. So it's like, it's a lot of work for no reason. And then if you do the opposite, right, if you go into your properties and you put them all to false as a default, then your default setup is here, and then you can add or change things. But I don't know, it feels weird to me to just arrive on your chip thing, and then if you see this as a variant group, it kind of feel like it's incomplete, and it kind of feel like there are things missing. However, you have all of this that is already set up inside of your variant groups, but you don't fucking know. So that's one of the reasons why I don't really like this. As an option, having everything and then just turning things off. I mean, it makes sense in the layer panel, but it doesn't make sense in my head, and it doesn't make sense in most devs' head. Like, let's say they arrive on this, right? And it's the outline one, and it's with a profile picture. And the text is really different. You may not know that it's the same thing, right? What did they do? What did they say, Aiden? And why now? It's like 8:30. I don't know, Nishit. I don't know why I won't recommend. It's not that I don't recommend it. It's just it's not easily usable in the long run. If you have more options that needs to be added, right? So the base thing is like, if you have this, and let's say at some point, right, you say to yourself, you know what, it could be interesting if we have an icon on the left side as well of the right side. So you duplicate this, right, and you put it here, and then you define, well, if you have an icon on the left side, it would probably be in between the status and the profile picture, or it could be like on the far left, and then we have the status here, right? That's the thing. So you take the layer thingy, you disconnect this, and you do a new property called left icon, right? So that's what we did earlier. So far so good. That's pretty simple. You just add this, right? It makes sense. And then let's say yes, okay, that's pretty clean. So now I know that for some reason some of my status needs to be placed in a different not order, but like on the other side. So I just duplicate it and I put them on the right side. And so now I need to do the same thing and say, well, but now I have like status right. Okay, so that makes sense. And turns out if I want to have the same thing, right, I need to put this here and then have the PFP duplicated and do another one called PFP right. I mean, you get the idea. PFP right. And so your chip on its own is like a humongous thing. And then when you arrive on it in your design, when you're designing things, you're just importing a chip. And then you're like, all right, so I need none of the left things and all of the right ones. Okay. But as you can see, you need to unselect a lot of things. And so when you know that you will need to unselect a lot of things, you will potentially go back there and just say, well, you know what? My full thing right here, it would be way easier if everything was hidden when I'm starting, in order for me to then just be able to like easily switch on the thing that I'm needing, right? So that way you have this. But then you have this humongous amount of options that just give you things that you may not need. Like this. Like options that you probably didn't want. So that's basically why I'm not for that whole thing. I'd say if you needed to have these and one left and one right, I would create a second variant group with the same properties as the first one and just reorder them specifically. So that would be easier for you. But yeah. Aiden, you don't need to do that. As always, they don't give a shit. It's you should touch toast bar as well, for sure. Notification here, you have a lot of things that you can get rid of. So here, the good thing that you have is most of the time you have description. Description can be selected through all of your components right here, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Shyam, hi, welcome on in. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm a bit tired. I don't know how long the stream will continue, but welcome on in. Welcome on in. Aiden, if your basic thing of they don't have dark mode in their app, it's not a good thing. It's not a reason. I mean, I appreciate the love for the designer who creates dark mode things, but if it's a reason for you to stay with a bank, then you don't know how to choose a bank. So, yeah, I mean, don't announce it. Just say I'm leaving, or closing my account, and just leave. And it's good. It will be fine. It will be fine. Yeah. Nishit, I mean, you have a lot of options. You have a lot of editing to do. The recommendation that have been made, right, are, let me just create a new property variant here called side, and then default is left, right. That makes a lot of sense. And then if I duplicate all of these and then call it right, and then on all of that I select these things, I get rid of them, and then here I can make that left aligned, and it should get rid of these, and that way we have that is left and that is right, and we should be able to have this layer and use our status on that one, our icon on that one, and our profile pic on that one. Right, and so that way all of the things that are useless, like status right, left icon, and there was another one, but it seems to have disappeared. Good. And so now you can just easily do that and say, okay, so this one is supposed to be right instead of left, and that's easier to manage. I guess that, in my views. Doesn't mean it's true. It's just for me. It's easier for everyone to just understand. Okay, so this needs to be in this option. Yeah, I don't know. Yep. Clean that up. 2C is the regular Figma color background. So yeah, Nishit, if you need to go to sleep, I understand. The overall, as I said, the overall thing here of creating your components for the company is a good OKR if it's a yearly thing. Creating the thing that you shared earlier, the project file template, could be an OKR as well that you can have. And it will be easily achieved in order for you to be, how can I say, to achieve most of your OKRs. If you cheat a bit, listen to me, if you cheat a bit, right, and you define OKRs that you already done but didn't mention to your team or boss or anything, when it will become time to review your goals and what you achieved, well, you would have more things achieved on the list, right? So you could have one of your goals to be something that is already in place, but no one knows about it, and then unveil it in like 3 months. And so if it's a yearly OKR things, you can easily say, well, this was planned in June, and I took the time to do it, and it's available now. And so that's one tick on your OKR for the year. And then in the meantime, when they thought you were doing this specific thing, well, you worked on the other goals that you had. And so maybe 2 months later, you say, well, this one is done now. So you have another tick on the thing. And then potentially in the amount of OKR or goals that you have for your years, you can just add 2 more that you already have, but no one knows about it. That can make you like get a promotion, things like this. Could be interesting. Could always be interesting. You can always use their system of tracking things against them if you think it's a good idea. I don't recommend it, but what do you mean? The last thing you want is a promotion? You don't want a promotion? You don't want a salary not extra. You don't need extra responsibility with a promotion. Promotion can be just salary wise. You can just get a bump in salary without needing more, or having more responsibilities. You can just be more experienced, in which case, well, they need to pay you more. That doesn't mean you have more responsibilities. That's pretty neat. But yeah, so you can do that just to get like a salary bump, if I can say that. Exactly true, but yeah, there's still 4 months, but still, if you can, and it's something that is difficult, and it's something that I'm working on my side in my company. If you can document everything that you are doing, to be able to showcase that the goals that you set to yourself and the goal that the company set to yourself have been achieved, it will be beneficial for you, and it will be beneficial for the company, and all of that. Currently, we are working on refining the process of collaboration. As I said, that's one of my main goals for this year, collaboration in between teams. So we are refining again the process of the collaboration in my company, and so that's something that we basically do every time we have the OKR talk. So every year or year and a half, when there is someone somewhere that talks about or read an article by OKR, there is the discussion that brews again, and then we have 2.5 months of defining OKRs, and we define them for the quarter, and then we don't touch them or forget about them for the next year, and then the next year you're like, oh fuck, we forgot about that. So every year we do the same thing, which is pretty fun. But yeah, easy things. All right, I think my tiredness is taking over. So let me see. I need sleep. Nishit, you need sleep as well. Who do we have? We have Trinix. We have Kristen, who I think just started. I could send you to Kristen, or send you to Skeed. How long has Skeed been up? Yeah. Let's do that. Haven't in a long time. But Alright, we are reading Skidwalker. Not Skiddy or Skiddy. Skidwalker. Who is streaming on most platforms, and today is on Twitch. So we'll see what they are doing. As always, thanks a lot for being here. If you enjoy your stay, please click the follow button so we have this move on. If you want to join the Discord, do so. It's one place where we share a lot of resources, articles, and all the things. If you join the Discord and you are a sub, you will have access for free to everything that is in here. Basically, most of it. So yeah, if you are a sub, this is the raid message for subs. If you're an unsub, this is the raid message for non-subs. What else? Yeah, I guess that's all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you not tomorrow, but on Monday at 4:30 p.m. UTC, meaning 4:30 p.m. UTC, and yeah, take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure that you eat, drink, sleep, all that things, and join us for the raid. That you gain a bit of points. And I will see you on Monday. Have fun. Bye.